Welcome back, everyone. Ready to dive into another deep dive with us.
Always.
Today, we're looking into supernatural experiences and miracles.
Oh, I guess.
And yeah, it's always a topic that kind of gets people talking, right?
Yeah, definitely generates some debate.
It really does. Especially, well, there was some research done recently, and
Oh, was there?
yeah, and a surprising 78% of people
Yeah.
said they've seen or experienced something supernatural.
78%. That's a lot.
It is a huge number. So to help us kind of break all this down, we're going to be focusing on the experiences and teachings of Andrew Wommack.
Okay.
Now, he's a well-known evangelist, and he's known for witnessing, well, he says he's witnessed a lot of miracles.
Right, right.
But before we get into all of that, I'd love to hear from you guys listening.
Yeah.
Have you ever experienced something, that you just couldn't explain? Something that just made you wonder if there's more to this world than what we see?
It's a great question. I mean, it really makes you think about the difference between what science tells us and then these experiences that some people have had that are, well, they're pretty hard to explain.
Absolutely. And Andrew Womack, he's someone who seems to just, go right into that tension with stories that, well, they really challenge that purely scientific view.
Yeah, he really does. Womack's ministry is just full of stories of events that he says they're caused by divine intervention.
Hmm.
Like there's this one story about a young boy,
Okay.
and this boy was facing a really serious life-threatening illness.
Oh, wow.
And the doctors, they weren't giving him very good odds, but Womack, he says that after he prayed for the boy had a complete healing.
Really?
Yeah, and it wasn't just like a temporary thing, it was a lasting healing.
Wow.
And this event, it wasn't just, important for the boy. It really strengthened Womack's own faith, and it really became a foundation for his whole ministry.
It's incredible how one single event can have such a ripple effect outward,
Yeah.
not just affecting the people directly involved, but it can actually, like you said, shape a whole ministry.
It's true.
And this idea that miracles they're a response to faith, that they're not just random things that happen.
Right.
That's really at the core of Womack's teaching, right?
Yeah, that's a big part of it.
Right.
He sees miracles as a direct result of active faith. People putting their faith into action and praying.
Yeah.
But it's not just about the individual either. He also believes that these miracles, they're like signs for the whole community. They're meant to make everyone's faith stronger, to demonstrate this connection that we all have, to something bigger than ourselves.
Yes. So these miracles, they're not just about, like someone being healed or a specific intervention, but they're actually, you're saying they serve this larger purpose by strengthening the faith of a whole community.
Exactly. Womack, he often tells the story about a family they were facing, really, really tough financial times.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but then, well, according to him, they got this unexpected help.
Okay.
It came through divine intervention.
Wow, that's amazing.
It was. And what's interesting is it wasn't just, the relief for that family, but it was the way it affected everyone in the community, in their faith. It was like it just re-energized their belief in something beyond just the material world.
It really makes you think about how when we share our own spiritual experiences, maybe even our struggles, it can actually give other people strength.
It's true.
It's like we're all linked together through these experiences,
Right.
finding comfort and inspiration in each other's journeys.
I like that.
But not everyone's going to be, so open to all this.
Of course not.
So how does Womack deal with, people who are skeptical or push back against this idea of miracles?
Well, he actually sees those challenges as opportunities. Like, he encourages people to really dig deep and examine their faith to be able to explain it. He thinks that facing that skepticism can make your faith stronger and and more resilient, because you have to really think about the why behind what you believe.
Yeah, it's like you're kind of forced to clarify your own understanding when you're faced with someone who has a different viewpoint.
Exactly.
And sometimes those challenges, they can actually make you more sure of your beliefs.
That's right. It's about going beyond just accepting things on the surface and finding that deep, solid foundation of faith that can handle anything.
So how does Womack suggest people navigate that opposition and keep their faith strong?
He really emphasizes persistence.
Cool.
He teaches that if you want miracles, you often have to have really strong faith and keep praying persistently.
So it's not about like trying to force a certain outcome.
No, no, it's not about that. It's
Yeah.
more about aligning yourself with what he believes is God's will and God's timing.
It's about trusting that bigger picture,
Hmm.
right? Even when we don't understand everything that's happening,
Zach.
and accepting that the path to a miracle, well, it might not always be what we expect.
That's right.
I can definitely relate to those times when I've, prayed for something specific and then the answer came in a way I never would have thought of.
Right. It's not always a straight line.
No, it's not. And those experiences, they're humbling, but they really teach you something.
They do. They remind us that we're not always in control.
Hmm.
And sometimes the most amazing miracles happen when we let go of our own limited view and open ourselves up to something bigger.
It's about surrendering to the mystery, to the unknown,
Yes,
and having faith that there's a greater purpose, even if we can't fully grasp it at the moment.
that's a great way to put it.
Now, this brings us to another really interesting part of Womack's teachings.
Okay.
This idea that these supernatural experiences can be really transformative, that they can shape not just our personal lives, but our destinies.
He's definitely a big believer in that.
So you're saying these experiences, they're not just isolated events, but they can actually guide us towards a larger purpose.
Exactly. Womack believes that these experiences can reveal our true calling, our higher purpose, and makes us think about our impact on the world, beyond just ourselves.
Right.
He often shares a story about how he got this divine revelation,
Yeah.
and it inspired him to start a Bible college.
Wow.
Something he hadn't planned, but it just came to him, it seemed, directly from this incredible experience.
It's amazing how those events can act as these catalysts, pushing us in a direction we might not have chosen on our own. But that feels right, like it's aligned with something deeper.
Like a calling.
It is. So I'm curious, how have your own experiences, those moments of wonder and the unexplainable, how have they shaped your sense of purpose?
For me, it hasn't been one big defining moment. It's
Yeah.
been more like a series of smaller things that have kind of come together,
Mm.
and they've guided me towards the work I do now. Each one, from things that seemed ordinary to those that felt extraordinary, they've all contributed to this growing feeling I have, about where I belong in the world.
It's a journey of discovery.
Yeah.
It's this gradual unfolding of purpose that's shaped by both the everyday and the miraculous.
I like that.
And Womack, he seems to really emphasize being open to those divine messages, those little nudges that can guide us towards our true path.
He does. He believes that being ready to receive those messages, it takes an open heart and an open mind, a willingness to let go of, our preconceived ideas and embrace the unknown.
Yeah.
It's about clearing out those doubts and actively seeking spiritual knowledge, preparing ourselves to recognize those whispers of guidance.
Like we're tuning our inner radio to the right frequency.
That's a good analogy.
So we can clearly hear that guidance.
Yeah.
But he doesn't just focus on individual transformation, does he? He also talks about community.
You're right, he does. Womack believes that stepping into our divine purpose, it's not something we do alone. It often leads to a deeper connection with others, a sense of belonging.
It's like we're all pieces of a bigger puzzle.
Yes.
And when we find our place, we contribute to a greater whole.
Exactly.
Spiritual communities, they can provide that support and encouragement as we're figuring out our own individual paths,
They can.
creating a space to share, to learn, and to grow together. Have you found that to be true in your own life?
Absolutely. I've always been drawn to communities that encourage exploration and open discussion. Having that space where you can share your experiences, grapple with complex ideas, ask questions without being judged, it's been so valuable to my own spiritual growth.
It's those shared explorations, those honest conversations that can spark such deep insights and breakthroughs, both for individuals and for the group as a whole.
I agree.
And speaking of the collective, let's broaden our perspective a bit and consider the wider implications of all these supernatural experiences. We've talked about the personal level, the community level, but how do those individual transformations, how do they translate to a global scale?
Well, Womack's experiences and teachings, they highlight how those personal transformations can actually contribute to these bigger spiritual awakenings and movements.
So it's not just about individual change, but it's about impacting the whole world around us.
Exactly.
Wow, that's powerful. So how does that work? What does it look like when these individual changes start influencing the bigger picture?
Imagine communities that really embrace the supernatural as a central part of their beliefs.
Okay.
They can become these beacons of hope and love
Mm.
attracting other people who are looking for similar experiences and challenging those dominant secular narratives.
So it's like creating these little pockets of light that radiate outward, inspiring change and offering a new way of seeing the world.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
And technology and media, those forces that are constantly around us, what role do they play in all of this?
That's an important question.
Yeah.
The ability to share those stories of miracles and divine interventions through technology and media, it creates this feeling of global connection. It highlights the fact that these experiences are happening everywhere, all over the world, across different cultures and geographies.
So even though we're physically separated, we're all connected through these shared experiences, contributing to a universal story of the supernatural.
That's right.
It's a reminder that we're all part of something much bigger than ourselves, participating in this story that goes beyond our individual lives and speaks to something deeper in the human experience.
I think that's a beautiful way to look at it.
How do your own experiences with the unexplainable, how do they connect you to this larger spiritual narrative?
That's a profound question.
It is a big one.
You know, it's easy to get caught up in our daily lives and forget that our own individual stories are woven into this grand tapestry of human experience. Maybe those moments of awe, those encounters that we can't explain, they're what remind us of that connection, pulling us back into that larger story.
It's like those moments that interrupt our routines and make us consider that there might be something more, something beyond the limits of what we currently understand.
Exactly.
And maybe, as more people share their experiences, it'll lead to a shift in how we all see things, a greater openness to the mysteries of the universe.
I hope so.
It's a fascinating thought, isn't it?
Yeah.
It suggests that we might be on the verge of a major transformation in how we view reality and our place in it.
It's exciting.
It really is.
Yeah.
But before we go deeper into those questions, let's take a moment to gather our thoughts and reflect on what we've explored so far.
That's good.
Some really interesting ideas there, huh? This idea that, like, these personal supernatural experiences can spread out and affect communities and even maybe the whole world.
Yeah, it's a fascinating area to think about, that's for sure.
It really is. It's like we live in a time where people are talking about this stuff more openly.
I think so.
And maybe that's why more and more people are starting to accept that these unexplained things, well, they could be real.
Maybe, yeah.
It's like these stories, they're chipping away at all that skepticism, making room for a new understanding of what's actually possible.
It's like we're breaking down the old ways of thinking.
Right. And what I find interesting is that even though Andrew Wommack's teachings come from a specific Christian tradition, they seem to connect with people from all sorts of spiritual backgrounds.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Why do you think that is?
I think there's this universal desire in us, in all of us, to connect with something bigger than ourselves.
Yeah.
To find meaning and purpose, especially in a world that can feel so chaotic and unpredictable.
Absolutely.
And Womack's teachings, with their focus on faith and divine intervention, they offer this framework for understanding these experiences, even for people who don't necessarily follow traditional religious beliefs.
It's that yearning for something more than the material world,
Right.
A connection to some source of wisdom and guidance that goes beyond what we can grasp with our minds.
Sweet.
And it seems like these supernatural experiences, whether they're miracles or visions or those moments of profound synchronicity, they give us a glimpse into that realm.
I think so, yeah.
They challenge our assumptions about what's real and what's not,
Yeah.
and make us consider that there might be forces at work that we just don't fully get yet.
They do.
And as more people share those stories, the stigma, that negative feeling around these experiences, it starts to fade.
Yeah, people are becoming more open-minded.
And it's replaced with this sense of curiosity and a willingness to explore.
Definitely.
It's like we're collectively shedding those old paradigms and embracing new ways of understanding our place in the cosmos.
I like that.
It is exciting, isn't it?
It is. It's like we're taking apart those old beliefs and building something new, something based on actual experience, intuition, and this deep knowing that there's got to be more to life than what we see on the surface.
And that process, as unsettling as it can be sometimes, it's also incredibly freeing.
It is.
It opens us up to a whole realm of possibilities that we might never have considered before.
Yeah, it's like stepping into a whole new world.
It is. But it doesn't happen overnight.
Right. No, it's a process, a journey.
Yeah.
And like with any journey, there's bound to be some bumps along the way.
Absolutely.
Womack, he talks about how important it is to face those challenges head on, not to shy away from doubt or skepticism.
He sees those moments of questioning
Yeah.
as opportunities to to go deeper, to strengthen our faith.
Exactly.
So how do we cultivate that kind of resilient faith?
Womack believes it's about nurturing that connection with the divine, seeking guidance through prayer, meditation, and really engaging with spiritual teachings.
It's like working out a muscle,
Yeah,
strengthening that connection to that source of wisdom and guidance.
exact.
But he doesn't just focus on the individual, right? Womack also talks about the importance of community.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
He believes that real spiritual growth, it happens best within a supportive community, a place where people can share their experiences, encourage each other, and learn from one another.
It's that feeling of going through it together, knowing you're not alone on this journey. That can make all the difference.
It really can.
Yeah, and that transformation, it's not just about personal growth, is it? It's about making a difference in the world.
That's right.
So it's not just about individual enlightenment, but it's about creating a world that reflects those values. Compassion, connection, and a deeper understanding of our interconnectedness.
Exactly.
It's about realizing that what we do has consequences. Consequences that go far beyond just ourselves.
Yeah, way beyond.
And that each of us has a part to play in creating a more just and harmonious world.
That's a great way to put it.
It's a powerful message. It suggests that these personal experiences of the supernatural, they're not just isolated incidents,
No, they're not.
but they're part of this larger movement towards a more spiritually awakened world.
You're all connected.
And that movement's gaining momentum.
It is.
As more and more people embrace their own experiences, share their stories, and challenge those prevailing narratives that limit our understanding of what's possible.
It's an exciting time.
It really is. It's like we're building this new paradigm, one that acknowledges those forces that we may not fully comprehend yet,
Yeah,
and one that embraces the possibility of the miraculous.
I like that.
And that paradigm shift, it changes everything.
It does.
It changes how we approach science, medicine, social justice, environmental stewardship, everything.
It makes you rethink everything.
It really does. It challenges us to expand our understanding of what's possible and to find new ways to address those complex challenges facing humanity.
It's about thinking outside the box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it all starts with cultivating that sense of wonder, that openness to the unknown,
That's where it begins.
that willingness to step outside of our comfort zones and explore what lies beyond the boundaries of our current understanding.
That's where the real adventure is.
It is. But before we journey further into those uncharted territories,
Yeah.
let's take another pause to reflect on what we've discovered so far. What are some of the key takeaways that have really resonated with you?
What really stands out to me is this idea that we're all capable of experiencing the extraordinary of the extraordinary. That these supernatural occurrences, they're not just for a select few,
Right?
but they're available to anyone who's willing to open their heart and mind to the possibility.
We can all experience them.
We can. And as we embrace those experiences and share them with others, we contribute to this collective shift in consciousness, creating a world where the miraculous becomes more and more commonplace.
It's a beautiful vision, isn't it?
It is.
A world where we recognize and embrace the interconnectedness of all things, and where the boundaries of what we believe is possible are constantly expanding.
Yeah, it's a world full of possibilities.
It is. But as you mentioned earlier, this journey isn't always smooth sailing.
No, it's not.
There are bound to be challenges along the way, moments of doubt, and even fear.
That's true.
Embracing the unknown takes courage
It does.
and a willingness to step outside of our comfort zones.
Definitely.
But the rewards, they can be profound.
They can.
So how do we navigate those challenges, those moments of doubt and fear, and keep our faith strong when we're facing obstacles?
Well, Womack has some great insights into this.
Okay.
He emphasizes the importance of persistent prayer, unwavering faith, and a deep trust in a power greater than ourselves.
It's about building resilience.
It is.
So we can weather the storms and come out stronger on the other side.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's about remembering that we're not alone on this path.
That's important.
We have the support of spiritual communities, the wisdom of ancient traditions, and this growing awareness that we're all connected, all part of something much bigger than ourselves.
We're all in this together.
It's that connection, that sense of belonging to something greater that gives us the strength to face our fears and embrace the unknown with open hearts.
It does.
But before we delve deeper into those aspects of Womack's teachings, let's take one final pause to let these ideas sink in and prepare ourselves for the next stage of our exploration.
Sounds good.
We've come a long way, haven't we? From those personal stories of the supernatural to how they affect communities, and even the possibility of like a global shift in how we see the world.
We have. It's been a really fascinating journey.
It has. And through it all, Andrew Womack's teachings, they've given us this interesting way of looking at these experiences.
They really have.
His emphasis on faith, miracles, and divine intervention, it offers a way to understand, even for people who might not, fully agree with traditional religious views.
Right. Provides a different perspective.
Yeah, it's about recognizing that there might be, forces at work that we don't fully understand yet. Forces that could be, trying to communicate with us, guide us, or even transform us.
That's a powerful thought.
It is. And Womack, he suggests that this increase in people reporting supernatural experiences, it could be a sign that we're becoming more sensitive to those forces,
Like we're tuning in to a frequency we couldn't hear before.
Exactly. More receptive to those subtle messages from something bigger.
It's like we're waking up from a long sleep.
Yeah.
Rediscovering that connection we have to something greater than ourselves and realizing, just how much potential we each have inside us.
And that awakening, it doesn't just affect us individually, right?
No, it
It
doesn't.
affects the whole world.
Womack believes that as more people have these shifts in consciousness, it creates this ripple effect that can lead to some pretty big changes in society.
So it's not just about personal enlightenment, but about creating a world that reflects those values of compassion, connection, and understanding that we're all interconnected.
That's right.
It's about recognizing that what we do has consequences. Consequences that reach far beyond just ourselves.
Yeah, they spread out like those ripples.
And that each of us, we have a part to play in creating a more just and harmonious world.
We all have a role.
It's a powerful message. It suggests that these personal experiences of the supernatural, they're not just isolated events.
No, they're all part of something bigger.
They're part of this movement towards a more spiritually awakened world.
A world where we're more aware, more connected.
And that movement, it's gaining momentum.
It is. It's exciting to see.
As more people embrace their own experiences, share their stories, and challenge those old ways of thinking that limit what we believe is possible.
We're breaking down barriers.
We are. It's like we're creating this new tapestry of reality, one that embraces the mystery, honors the interconnectedness of everything, and recognizes the power of the human spirit to overcome any limitation.
I love that imagery.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
It is.
And Womack would say that this shift in perspective, it requires us to surrender to something greater than ourselves, to trust in a divine plan that we might not fully understand, but that's ultimately guiding us towards what's best for us.
It's about letting go of control and allowing ourselves to be guided by a wisdom that goes beyond our limited human understanding.
He often compares it to learning to dance with the divine.
Oh,
embracing the rhythm of the universe.
Yeah.
And allowing ourselves to be carried away by the currents of a love that's beyond our comprehension.
That's beautiful.
It is a beautiful analogy, isn't it? Suggesting that we can find harmony and joy when we align ourselves with that universal flow, trusting that we're exactly where we need to be in each moment.
It's about trusting the journey.
It is. And he also emphasizes gratitude.
Oh, it's so important.
Recognizing the good things in our lives,
Yeah.
Expressing appreciation for all that we have, even when things are tough.
It's easy to forget to do that sometimes.
It is. But cultivating that gratefulness,
Yeah.
it can really change how we see things,
It can.
allowing us to see the beauty and wonder that's often hidden in plain sight.
It's like opening our eyes to what's already there.
It's about acknowledging that we're all connected, part of this delicate web of life, and that our actions, they affect not just ourselves, but the whole ecosystem.
It's a big responsibility.
It is. It's a humbling realization that invites us to live with more awareness, more intention,
To make conscious choices.
to think about the consequences of our actions and try to make a positive difference in the world around us.
To leave the world a little better than we found it.
Exactly. And as we embrace that interconnectedness, as we open ourselves up to the possibility of the miraculous,
Yeah.
we start to see the world through a different lens.
A lens of wonder and awe.
A lens filled with gratitude for the gift of life.
Beautifully said.
It's a vision of a world where the line between the ordinary and the extraordinary, it just fades away. Where miracles aren't exceptions, but expressions of who we truly are.
And where love is the driving force behind everything we do.
This has been such a thought-provoking conversation.
It has.
Thank you so much for sharing your insights today.
This is my pleasure.
I know it's given me a lot to think about, and I hope it's given all of you listening some food for thought as well.
I hope so.
To all of you out there, Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of supernatural experiences and the teachings of Andrew Womack.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
May this exploration inspire you to embrace the mystery, cultivate your own connection to the divine, and live each day with a sense of wonder and gratitude.
That's a great takeaway.
Until next time, keep exploring the depths of your own being and the infinite possibilities that lie ahead.